Every day, I fear for the general populace's research and problem-solving abilities, which seem to be getting worse. Somehow, you have the world at your fingertips, a beacon of knowledge at all times, and yet you can't problem-solve for shit, nor can you research for shit. The critical thinking is getting worse. Is it because information is so easy to find? Is it because your attention span has been reduced due to short form video? I don't know. There is no better exemplification of the lack of critical thinking, problem solving, research abilities than recipe reviews on the internet. And this, goes beyond your recipe blogger and onto, recipe TikToks as well. In fact, here's a shortened version of the video that inspired this.
I see this video of a girl making a bean soup. Okay, that is very critical information that this is a bean themed soup. All right, she used like 15 different fucking beans. It's bean soup. She's putting other stuff in there, even though beans are still the star of the show here. She's putting in other shit. She's got like kale, onion, Then I see she made a follow-up video because no fucking shocker here. She had the whole idiot brigade up in her comments asking her nonsense questions as if it's like their first fucking day on earth. She goes, and for the people who asked me what to use if you don't like beans, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think we're gonna do that right now.
You went on a video about bean soup and you asked, what if I don't like beans? What if I don't like beans? Tie bricks to your ankles and walk into the ocean. I don't know if it's because I have to work with the general public every single day and I'm just so unbelievably burnt out about it. When I see people do this shit, it just reminds me of my job. It would take 2 seconds to research or just Google soup recipe, right? You'll get so many options that aren't bean soup. Then my friend so graciously introduced me to blog recipe reviews, and reading these made me feel like I was a tire in the 120-degree dry Arizona heat. I'm about to blow up on the highway. And while I absolutely did find some satirical ones, I need you to understand that the stupidity of the general populace is beyond satire. I need you to understand. If you have worked in customer service in any capacity, you would get it. Somebody screamed at one of my coworkers because we told her she had bat guano in her house, and then she yelled at her saying that she doesn't own an iguana. I'm not making this shit up. All of these are plausible. I'm going to read this recipe review, and I want you to take a gander what the recipe is for. Carrots have way too much sugar, so replace them with shredded kale. Cake turned out rather nasty, so 2 stars. Unsure what went wrong, but it's dry also. Have you put in your guesses? Have you guessed? It's carrot cake. It's fucking carrot cake. She swapped out the carrots in carrot cake for kale. That is an alliteration. You put kale in cake and you're surprised that it turned out nasty? Also, why are you baking cake if you're afraid of sugar? Don't be a coward. I think what kills me about these recipe reviews is half of them say unsure what went wrong. Oh, I don't know. The unprompted substitution that you made that cannot be a substitution under any circumstances. Have you considered that? Have you considered that you replaced carrots in carrot cake with kale? I also really respect the recipe makers and posters because they respond with such grace and dignity and patience. I would have torn this person to shreds we'd definitely recommend preparing this recipe as written, as carrots provide much needed texture and moisture. That is the kindest way to say, you are the dumbest motherfucker I've ever met in my life. I followed the recipe exactly, except that I replaced the oil with applesauce. Unfortunately, I did not turn out well. You didn't turn out well, obviously. Its consistency is neither brownie-like nor cake-like. I can't eat it. Sadly, we'll have to dispose of the whole thing. I don't know what went wrong as I followed the recipe exactly. You followed the recipe exactly, did you? Exactly? Do you know what that word means? I followed the recipe exactly. I mean, I did take the fat-based ingredient and then I switched it out with a sugar-based ingredient, but I'm unsure what went wrong. I feel like people don't understand that cooking and baking is a science, and if you fuck up the, components that are necessary to make your science project the reality, it's gonna blow up. If you are going to substitute an ingredient, a fat-based ingredient, it needs to be another fat-based ingredient because the recipe calls for that fat-based ingredient probably for texture and cooking and baking purposes. What possessed you to do that? Was this like a health nut thing where you're also afraid of sugar? Is that what's going on? Hi, this didn't work. Me, and my husband are non-GMO gluten-free vegans and cannot use egg, so I substituted this for mashed banana, and it just would not set. I followed all of the instructions, so I think it may be my oven. Unfortunately, that cannot maintain temp, and in the end it was really runny, tasted quite bitter, so not sure what happened, but I won't be trying this again. I'm sorry, what a waste. What drives me insane as a former vegan and current vegetarian is that when I was vegan and a child, I knew better than to take non-vegan recipes and try to make them vegan because I wasn't a fucking idiot. If you need a vegan recipe, they're there. You can look up vegan banana bread. If you need a vegan recipe for a typically non-vegan thing like cake, it's there. It's at your fingertips. You can look up recipe for vegan cake and you will get a recipe that includes vegan ingredients. It is that simple. Yet you went onto a non-vegan recipe, tried to make it vegan, and then complained when it didn't work out because you once again are an idiot that don't understand that you can't replace a protein-based ingredient with a sugar-based ingredient. Also, once again with the I followed all the instructions, I'm not sure what happened. Oh, I don't know. It's the fact that you replaced egg with mashed banana. We're going to go to the thinking corner and we're going to sit there and we're going to think about what might have happened here. Come on, everybody, let's go to the thinking corner. Also, this person admitted that their oven is fucked up too, and then decided to give like a bad review to this recipe after replacing egg with mashed banana and having a fucked up oven. I need you to be for real right now. Hi, an extreme substitution like using mashed banana in place of egg for an egg custard tart is not always going to work. I'm sorry that it felt like a waste of time, but sometimes one has to acknowledge that a banana isn't an egg, you know? This person was about ready to crack, but they held it together. I felt the tension. Also, the plot twist that this dumbass tried to replace the egg in an egg custard tart with mashed banana. How can the Onion make articles anymore when real life is the satire? Hi, just curious, could I change the coconut with shredded cheddar cheese? Will it work flavor-wise? And do I need to change composition of other ingredients? Thanks a lot. Hi, no, I don't recommend using cheese in this brownie recipe. I hope you enjoy them. You looked at a brownie recipe and said, this needs cheese. If you don't like coconut or you don't have coconut, why Are you using a brownie recipe that requires coconut? Let's put our thinking caps on and think about what we could have done differently here, okay? You could have gone to the Google search bar and typed brownie recipe, and you could have found one that doesn't list coconut in the ingredients. And I love that this is the most reasonable person that we've read thus far. This person even asked if they need to change the composition of the other ingredients. Like, there is a fundamental understanding of baking there somewhere. And yet, they still asked if they could put shredded cheese in the brownies. Also, the recipe poster responding, I don't recommend putting cheese in a brownie recipe. They held it together. I respect them for it. They were about ready to lose their mind. Understandable. I'm not a better person, and I would have, given a strange threat like, I'm in your fridge right now or something, Very good icing. I just didn't realize that I couldn't substitute the heavy cream for mayonnaise, and I was just devastated when I tried it. Maybe mention that next time, but other than that, it was delicious. First and foremost, I don't think I was just devastated when I tried it, and it was delicious should be in the same review. I'm getting mixed messages. I love that this review implies that the recipe poster has to predict every brain rot substitution the internet can possibly come up with, and then put explicitly in the recipe not to do it. That's like Twitter level brain rot, where you have to, in every tweet, be like, and no, I don't mean this, and no, I don't mean this, and I also acknowledge this. They're now asking you to bring Twitter to your local recipe. And remember, you cannot switch out heavy cream with your mother's titty milk. Please do not do that. It will ruin the recipe. Very good icing. I just didn't realize that I couldn't substitute the heavy cream with semen, and I was devastated when I tried it. Maybe next time, mention that you shouldn't put semen in your icing. Otherwise, it was delicious. You think this is satire? To me, this is just another day in the trenches.